There's a swimming pool 6 meters deep that is used for a filming activity, with a sofa that is dropped into the water. A man named Day helps with the filming process in the swimming pool. Day had been told by the crew to bring his dog to be used as a model, so his girlfriend, Koi, came to the filming location, bringing their dog named Lucky. Day suffers from diabetes, so he goes to another place to inject insulin. Not long after, Koi approaches Day and starts joking about pregnancy, which makes him feel uneasy. Day then takes Lucky to get ready for the filming session, and the filming process goes well. As a closing, the crew takes a selfie together. Then they leave the location. The next day, Day still stays in the swimming pool with Lucky to clean the pool and close the facility, since no one will use it anymore. Before starting his work, he first relaxes using a float in the pool. His friend and boss, Mayim, still stays in the pool area and has finished packing his things. He's about to go out of town for 3 months, so he says goodbye to Day. After that, he pulls the lever to drain all the water from the pool, then ties Lucky with a chain to a pole nearby. Before leaving, Day asks him to order pizza for him. Mayim agrees to his request and walks out of the pool area, while reminding Day to get out of the water soon because the draining process has already started. However, Day, who is too busy relaxing, eventually falls asleep on the float and does not realize that the water keeps decreasing. A few moments later, he is awakened by Lucky's barking. Day finally realizes that the water level in the pool keeps going down. Since the swimming pool has no ladder, he tries to swim to the edge to escape, but it turns out the wall surface is already too high to climb. Day keeps trying to climb until one of his nails is pulled out. He tries again using his float, but still fails. Day then shouts for help, but the camera shows that the pool area is completely empty with no one around. Not long after, Day's phone, which is on the pool side, vibrates and slowly moves closer to the pool. Day notices it and gets ready to catch it. But at the same time, Lucky slips and almost falls into the pool, though he still manages to hang on to the edge. Day chooses to help Lucky first, using his float, so his phone finally falls. Luckily, the device is still stuck on the charger cable, so Day quickly tries to reach it. Unfortunately, since the water keeps decreasing, he fails to grab it properly. The phone eventually falls into the water and cannot be used anymore. Day then plans to stop the draining by closing the drain hole using his swimsuit. While he is in the water trying to do that, a pizza deliveryman arrives at the location to deliver Day's order. The deliveryman looks around but finds no one. He then calls Mayim to ask what he should do. Mayim tells him to leave the pizza and go immediately. At the same time, when Day realizes that the deliveryman is there, the chain on his pants gets stuck in the drain hole, trapping him in the water. Before Day can get out, the deliveryman has already left the location. Day still hopes someone will come to look for him, but no one comes, so he falls asleep again on the float. Sometime later, Koi arrives at the swimming pool without realizing that the water level has gone down a lot. She climbs onto the diving board and gets ready to jump. Soon after, Day wakes up and shouts for her to stop. Koi gets shocked, loses her balance, then slips from the board, causing her head to hit, and she falls into the pool. Day quickly helps her, lifts her body onto the float, and uses his swimsuit to stop the bleeding on her head. Night comes, and the water in the pool is almost gone. At that time, Lucky starts barking loudly because a crocodile crawls out from a room and moves closer to him. Day sees the crocodile and tries to calm Lucky to stop barking. Before the crocodile reaches Lucky, it slips and falls into the pool. Now Day is trapped inside the pool with a crocodile and his wounded girlfriend. The second day comes. The pool is completely dry, while Koi still does not wake up. The crocodile sleeps with its mouth open on the other side of the pool. Day then sees a pregnancy test in Koi's pocket, which shows that she is actually pregnant. Day is shocked and tries to calm Koi, even though she still does not wake up, by saying that everything will be fine. He checks the wound on her head and finds that the back of her head is still torn and bleeding. Day then approaches the crocodile that is sleeping, and he sees duct tape stuck on its mouth. It turns out that the duct tape is the same one that Mayim had thrown to Day as a joke before he left. Day manages to take the duct tape, but the crocodile suddenly wakes up and growls at him. Day quickly goes back to Koi, then uses the duct tape and a torn piece of his swimsuit to cover her wound so the bleeding stops. After that, Day plans to open the pool drain so he can crawl out through the tunnel. He succeeds in opening the cover and goes back to check on Koi. However, before he manages to return, the crocodile enters the tunnel. Day waits for it to come out, but since it does not return, he decides to take the risk to crawl into the tunnel. He crawls inside until he finds a ventilation door, but it is locked with a padlock from the outside. At the same time, the crocodile comes back into the pool and moves toward Koi. Day quickly returns and pulls the crocodile's tail to keep it away from Koi. The crocodile does not attack back. Not long after, Koi finally wakes up and tells Day about her pregnancy. Night comes, and Koi rests on the sofa that was previously used for filming. Day then realizes that Lucky eats the pizza that was left earlier, and cleverly, Lucky throws the pizza box into the pool. Day and Koi finally enjoy delicious food for the first time after 3 days. The third day comes, and they have already run out of drinking water. This makes Day faint and remain unconscious all day. He only wakes up at night while Koi watches him. Day asks her what the crocodile did to her. Koi answers that the crocodile is a female that had laid eggs earlier that day. Rain falls, giving them a chance to collect water on the 4th day. The crocodile moves toward Day while he sleeps, but it turns out to be a trap that makes the crocodile fall into the hole. Day quickly pushes it down and closes the hole. After that, they try to start a fire using pieces of dry grass with the help of Day's glasses. Finally, they manage to boil the crocodile eggs to eat. At night, Koi tries to climb out with the help of Day and the sofa, but the attempt still does not succeed. They then sit together and talk about many things. At that moment, Day reveals his wish for Koi to have an abortion if she is truly pregnant. Koi feels heartbroken, slaps Day, but still encourages him to keep trying to find a way out. They start to realize that it will not be possible to survive too long in the sunlight. The 5th day comes. They open the drain hole again, so the crocodile comes back into the pool. Koi quickly goes into the hole when the crocodile is moving toward its eggs. Realizing its eggs have been stolen, the crocodile immediately attacks Day. But Day manages to escape into the hole and quickly closes it before the crocodile can catch him. After that, Day starts to tremble and becomes sick because he has not had an insulin injection for several days. They then see Day's insulin injection that Mayhem had placed on the table near the ventilation area. Day tries to use a wire to take it, but unfortunately, the injection falls and breaks. On the 6th day, Day is lucky to find his insulin box on the floor, which Mayhem had accidentally dropped into the vent last time he was there. Day finally manages to inject insulin into his body. After that, they see a parachute flying above the pool. Then Day asks Koi to use a barrel to close the tunnel entrance, while he himself goes out to find help. But when he comes back to the pool, he realizes that the parachute is only a children's toy. He then shouts again for help, hoping someone will hear him. Not long after, a strong wind makes a cable hanger fall into the pool. Day then tries to use it to climb, and he realizes that the wire can hold his body weight. His palms are wounded, but that does not stop his effort to keep climbing. Just as he almost reaches the top, the wire slips, causing Day to fall and break his leg, also making him faint. After he regains consciousness, Day finds that his leg is indeed broken, so he bandages it using pieces of wood. Not long after, the crocodile drags his leg, but he manages to free himself and crawls to the sofa. With his injured leg, Day finally rests for a while before returning to Koi. At night, rain starts to fall. Since the tunnel is blocked, the place where Koi stays begins to flood, so she bangs on the barrel to call Day. Hearing the sound, Day crawls back into the tunnel, but this time he decides to go to the other end. There, he finds an exit. Day manages to open it and feels very happy after coming out. But his joy quickly turns into disappointment, because it turns out the swimming pool is 2 in number, and he just entered the second pool with the same depth and no exit. On the 7th day, 2 people come to the pool area to search for their parachute toy, but Day and Koi are not seen. They go down into the pool using a ladder and succeed in taking back their toy. At that moment, the crocodile hides behind the sofa, so the 2 people do not realize it. Day then hears their conversation. When he goes back to the pool and shouts for help, the 2 people have already left, even though the ladder is still left behind. Rain falls again when Day wants to reach the ladder, but suddenly he is attacked by the crocodile, while the place where Koi stays is almost completely flooded. Day then decides to kill the crocodile. A fierce battle happens, and suddenly, Koi appears from under the water and whistles. Realizing that Koi is still alive makes Day's spirit to survive stronger, and he manages to move away from the crocodile just in time. Day tries again to walk toward the ladder, but several big objects tied to the rope pull the ladder upward and away from him. Day's hope disappears, leaving him weak and helpless. At that moment, Koi's whistle attracts Lucky, because the whistle is usually used to train him. Day quickly warns Lucky not to jump, but it is already too late. Lucky is strangled by the chain around his neck, making him hang, and finally he dies. Day feels helpless seeing that, but then he is filled with anger toward the crocodile. He then takes a long iron pole, jumps, and stabs it into the crocodile's mouth, and finally, the crocodile dies. Before he can feel relieved, Day still has to save Koi. He climbs using Lucky's dead body and his chain. Day finally succeeds in coming out of the pool and quickly goes to the vent where Koi is. He finds a big pipe nearby and tries to force open the vent door. But when the cover almost opens, the pipe shifts and makes Day almost fall back into the pool. He struggles hard to open the door once again and manages to open it, but at the same time, he falls. Luckily, he still hangs on the pool edge and tries with all his strength to climb. Day then quickly dives into the water to pull Koi out, who is already unconscious. At first, Koi seems dead, but after Day performs CPR and various desperate efforts to revive her, Koi finally survives. The pool movie ends with them hugging each other in tears, and finally, they succeed in overcoming a very long struggle. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps.